Hey everybody, got ourselves a 7.30B patch. This allows me to talk a little bit about the meta, and it also, we get to note what Ice Frog thought was just a little bit too good or a little bit too bad. So let's go ahead and find out here.
Banana slam jam.
Item changes. This was my number 1 and 2 item of the patch. I haven't read yet. I'm purposely remaining ignorant for the time being. Helm of the Overlord and Silver Edge, definitely the biggest winners. So let's see what they did to them. Recipe cost increased by 250. I propose a recipe cost increase of 800. So I guess they went a little bit less extreme. I know 800 seems extreme, but it's about 1.5 to 2 minutes that it would delay the Helm of the Overlord. I don't have an issue with the item. It's now Helm Dom plus Vlad's plus this recipe, and then it gives you an Ancient Creep that does 80 damage bonus. I don't mind the item. I minded the fact that any summons-based strategy is sometimes just too fast-paced for a meta. Like, it's just impossible to keep up with. So with heroes like Lycan and Beastmaster specifically, this creep hit for, like the Lycan creep would hit for 240 damage, and it would come out at, 14 minutes into the game. So I was like, I don't mind that if it comes out at like 16, 17 minutes, but looks like they're also going to nerf Lycan. So yeah, I don't mind that. Recipe cost for Silver Edge increased by 150. I'm glad they didn't nerf the stats. I was buying this item a pretty good amount. I was playing SLARK, I was playing Sven. This is just a very nice item in general. Just the build-up felt so good. In the past, you built Shadowblade, Oblivion Staff, and then 1100 gold recipe. Like, that just feels ass. You're like, there's this 900 gold, 1100 gold window where you're just not buying anything. And with this, it's like, oh, I just buy a crit, I buy a Shadowblade, and then I buy this minuscule little recipe. So that felt really good. And some heroes that want it could just go the crit first. And then some heroes that want it can go the Shadowblade first. So a lot of items, it's not just like what the final item does for you, but it's also the buildup and how powerful you feel each step of the buildup. And these two items are like perfect examples of how that works, right? Because that's how both of these items got significantly buffed between 7.29 and 7.30. So it's just something to note that you should be thinking about how your item buildups, how your power curve works when you're building any items in the game. Beastmaster. Okay. That's it. Okay. Let's see if I can milk this for more content. So that means that his boars are going to have about 800 instead of 900, and that means that it'll take me 3 hits if I hit for 270 damage instead of 4. It's really good. Okay, that's about all I got. Agility on Broodmother increased by 0.4. Damage on Insatiable Hunger increased by 0, 5, 10, 15. Okay. This hero went down like 11% in win rate, so definitely needed a little bit of love and compensation for the nerfs that she received. Okay, we got ourselves a Lycan. His armor reduction from Howl reduced by 1 at all levels. Fine with that. Nothing major, but it definitely matters. And then the level 10 talent of 20 Summon Wolves damage reduced by 15. So I talked about this on my stream the other day. I misunderstood. I thought this 20 damage was base damage. When you summon the wolf, I thought it was base damage. In regards to the level 10 talent on Lycan, there's a reason why this 20 damage, now 15 talent, is so powerful. And that's because there's different types of damage in Dota, and a lot of you may know that there's magical, pure, and physical. But there's actually different types of damage sources, specifically basic, hero, piercing, and siege. So I'm not going to go into a whole lecture for you guys, but I'm going to tell you that heroes do 50% damage to towers. So like right now, I have 240 damage. So like if theoretically 240 damage, work with me here, 40% physical resistance, that means I'm going to hit for like 150, 160 if damage types weren't in the game, right? 150, 160. But instead I'm going to hit for like 75 or 80. See? Right there. So what that means is that your damage is just half, including armor and like damage normally, right? So what that means is when you have these wolves, okay, so these wolves actually have basic damage, which is instead of half damage to towers, it's actually 80% damage to towers. So if you do the quick math in your head, show it up on the screen for a Strider, 50% to 80%, you're going up by 30%. 30% of 50% is 60%. So that means wolves do 60% extra damage to towers per damage. Okay, per damage. So this wolf, which if it was a hero, would hit for the 74 minus the 40%, which would be about 40. And then it would hit for half, which would be 20. But instead of hitting for 20, it hits for 30. So that's a pretty significant damage increase based on the fact that it's based on its damage type. So the reason why this level 10 talent was so broken was because at 10 minutes into the game, you got 2 wolves that got 20 damage. And so that 20 damage to towers specifically was amped by an extra 60%. So we're now looking at 64 damage to towers between the 2 wolves, because you had 20 plus 20, which is 40. 60% of 40 is 24. And we're sitting at 64 bonus damage to towers. So imagine any hero in the game who hits pretty fast. Okay, let's actually talk about this too. Their base attack time is 0.9 rather than 1.7, which means that they attack about twice as fast as a hero does per attack. So what that means then is that we'll be generous and we'll say 1.5 if the hero has a bunch of attack speed. So these wolves attack about 1.5 times faster than a normal hero. So what that means is we take that 64 that we already had, and we multiply it again by 1.5, and we're sitting at 96 damage bonus from a level 10 talent to towers. So Lycan's always been a tower pusher. He's always been a pace of the game type hero. And so when you summon these 2 wolves that previously hit for 30, they now hit for 37. And that's just insane when you talk about it early on in the game, the DPS that it was increased. And that's only with this level, this 15 damage talent rather than a 20 damage talent. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Milked you guys for as much content as possible. We have Silencer. Still the best talent, by the way. Silencer. Not looking at SLARK, guys. I'm not looking. I haven't looked. My boy was alive for 4 days. I'm not looking. Okay, Silencer. Level 15 talent, not looking at SLARK. Level 15 talent. Arcane Killer Slow reduced. And level 20 talent reduced. Wow, they deemed Silencer broken. I was seeing him in competitive, so I guess that means he's broken because we didn't see him last patch at all. A little sad. I kind of could have just left it there, guys. But, okay. I haven't looked, I promise. This isn't me like being melodramatic. I haven't looked. My chat is saying SLARK is dead. I haven't looked. Nobody's actually said what changed. I haven't looked. Okay. My boy, you were alive. Mana cost on Dark Pact increased to 75. Talents, Dark Pact damage reduced to 70. Dude, that's so much mana. So what this means is that 4 Dark Pacts cost the equivalent of 5, right? Because 4 times 75 is 300 and 5 times 60 is 300. So I actually don't think this kills the hero because I think the hero's really strong. But like one of my games, I came back after having a really rough laning stage, and I don't think that's going to cut it anymore. I don't think you can lose your laning phase and have any chance of coming back, really, because Dark Pact is your way to come back into the game. I think you have to basically buy raindrops every single game. On top of Echo Saber, you probably buy the Sage's Mask pretty early as well. I've seen like treads quelling Sage's Mask raindrops. You know, like that's what we're talking here. Probably Clarity's on top of it. I think this nerf's mainly going to hurt before like Echo Saber. It'll hurt afterwards, but you'll have to buy Clarities. I think the hero's still really good. I think overall you'd rather have this and this than the previous iteration of SLARK. The level 10 talent and the 70 part, like the 10 and 15 talent now are just way better than they were before. You'd still rather be this SLARK, so he's still better than he was in 7.29, but he's definitely more situational, which sucks. I think it's fine. It's not the hero's not dead. You know, my chat was definitely being melodramatic. Yeah, that's it. So what they basically did was knocked Beastmaster, Like, and Slark down a notch. Silencer kind of feels bad, man. I don't know why you had to go through this. The Zoom meta was already so strong in ESL. I don't think this honestly changes much. I think people are still going to do the same stuff. It's just going to be a bit weaker. So, you know, just tilting the scale slightly in favor of the counters. So, hope you guys enjoyed this, and make sure you stay tuned for more BSJ 7.30 B and onward content. Bye-bye. Time to queue up.